It is Thanksgiving break, and I am going to be writing for the entire break, so I'll bring you along with me, for funsies. First, I'm going to clean up my room because the best way to get writing is if you have no distractions. Having a dirty room is one of those distractions. It may not look messy to you, but it feels messy to me. One thing that I'm very guilty of is being super picky about where I am and how I'm feeling at the time. I have a lot of sensory issues, so keeping clean is extremely important. Why are there socks on top of my bookshelf? Artichoke socks, do you like them? I know. You're so tired, and you just now got through terrorizing all of us. Oh my god. Can you get up, please? No, you don't want to? They're having a war over the blanket. She was here first. I'm so sorry, buddy. I am going to try to do 3 writing sprints today. They are growling at each other in the background. Please ignore that. 3 writing sprints today. But the thing is, I wrote to the point yesterday where I don't know what happens next. And I have an outline. It's not very long, though. I don't know. The hardest part about writing is always starting. And the more tricks that you find in order to help you start, the better a writer you will get, because you'll actually be writing. But also, the farther I get into this draft, the more I find the flaws with it and the things that I need to outline more or go back and foreshadow more and stuff like that. And it's really difficult to keep going, but I'm really gonna try, because I know that the turnaround from this first draft to the second draft even will be really satisfying. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. This is turning my brain to mush. And I still have 17 more minutes to go in my writing sprint. Some things that help me start are getting a warm cup of tea, making myself super duper warm, making myself have good posture or forcing myself to have a good posture, making sure that my room's door is closed and no one will distract me, and of course having a writing sprint. For a long time, I didn't measure how much I wrote in writing sprints, and I did it in words or pages, and that did not work because I didn't feel like my day was organized or structured enough. I didn't know how much time I was going to have to spend on writing, so I couldn't plot accordingly. How you measure what you're going to write is an extremely important part of getting started. I am 10 minutes into my 30-minute writing sprint, and I am suffering from writer's block. I don't know what comes next, and maybe it's because it's the climax of one of the storylines, because there's multiple storylines going on at the same time, but I hate writing climaxes. I don't know. Also, I sighed 3 times during that one tiny clip. That's embarrassing. Should I just sit here twiddling my thumbs, or should I actually try? I think I should actually try. One of the things that I've been doing with this draft is I have not been afraid to make it be really, really bad. Filming, one, helps because I get to talk through my thoughts and ideas with the camera. So now I know how to handle it better, but now I'm realizing that the reason that I did this draft so badly was because during times of writer's block, I don't have to pressure myself to be super duper good. I just need to get the story on the page. And obviously the rest of it's terrible, so whatever. Writer's block, like what I'm experiencing in this clip, is a very common problem for writers. You can find any number of resources to help you overcome this. The thing that I've really found helps me is to turn my brain off and to just write. And also journal. And I know this sounds really crazy, but just go back and remind yourself what inspired you to write this story in the first place. So my 30-minute writing sprint is off, and I don't really want to show you what I did, but let me just count the paragraphs. They're pretty lengthy paragraphs, but I did only 3 paragraphs. Usually I get a page done, and it wasn't that, but that's because I kept writing things whatever came to mind and then deleting them because I wanted to put something better. Each time that I wrote something and then deleted that deleted section lent to me pushing the story in the way I want it to be. So even if I didn't get so much done, I got through my writer's block and I know what happens next. So in my next writing sprint, I can definitely write more. Guys, I just got to part 2 of my book. I have never gotten to this far into this story without having to go back and rewrite it. I'm gonna do some story planning right now. This is always the part where I always quit and I start over because my ideas aren't good enough or something. And oh my gosh, I just realized how raspy my voice sounds because I have allergies and I haven't taken my meds yet. But as I was saying, this is always the part where I stop and redo my outline because my ideas aren't good enough or they're too messy and stuff. And this time I'm really trying not to do that, and I really just have to keep pushing forward because it's going to be satisfying when I write the second draft. Also, I'm just going to throw all of my ideas, all of my ideas that maybe should happen later or something. I'm going to throw them all here and not worry about the pacing because I want to have something fun to write. And that's my plan right now. But I suppose I should also talk to you about how I am organizing my ideas and my thoughts. So this story is actually organized very interestingly. So we have our parts, we have our chapters, and in the other chapters we have time skips and time jumps and stuff. But I also have my outline here. And I'm not going to show you the outline because that's spoilers, but over here, that is also spoilers. But in our outline, we have our dates and my places, and the outline, this is the old outline that I'm also referencing, and these are the characters. The old outline is more in-depth. Taking the parts that I liked about it, and I'm putting it into the new outline, because the new outline 2.1 has a new format. And really, for this outline, I'm trying to do it as I go, so that I don't get bored and stuff, because I don't want to write a bunch of boring scenes and filler scenes. I don't want to know how long this book is going to be before I finish it, and that's helped immensely. Another thing that I'm trying to limit myself doing is planning out another outline for draft 2 before I'm finished with draft 1, because that'll just make me want to give up and just write draft 2 as if it's draft 1, and that never works. That's what I did for this one, and it's a mess already. Good morning, Penny. She just woke up. It's Thanksgiving, and I am trying to find some time to write. I have my writing sprint going, and it is 8:49. I don't know when we're leaving, but I hope that it's not in the next 23 minutes. I found my comfy place on the bed with some coffee, and that's really helping me get through this in such a quick amount of time, with a quick turnover from, like, you know, starting to actually getting into it. Usually when I'm trying to find time to write, I write scenes that I really like, or I make sure that I'm writing a scene that I know I can write well. I have nowhere to set this phone. A lot of people, when they talk about, you know, keeping yourself motivated in skipping around and only writing the scenes you love, they talk about going non-chronologically. I can't do that. It's a mess. It's even messier than it already is when I do that. So instead, I skip past so much filler, so much like good prose that there could be, and I just go straight to the action, and it works. One reason why you really have to find time to write, maybe not every day, but extremely often, is because if you start giving yourself excuses like, oh, I'm too busy to write, I'm too busy to do this or that, then that'll be a habit. You'll just start excusing not writing more and more. And also know what time of day is best for your writing. For me, I enjoy mornings, which means it's harder for me to write after school. It is Friday and my head really hurts. I think it's because I either have a caffeine addiction and I haven't had caffeine yet, or I'm severely dehydrated. I guess I'll just like go get some tea, although I still have some in here. I should probably just drink this first. I'm so tired. This isn't a great way to end the week because I was feeling so motivated before, and now I'm not. And the thing about motivation is that it's fleeting and you have to get through it. And if you really, well, like I want to become a writer or do something creative, you really have to get through these little bumps in the road, even if it's really difficult. And this week I've been reflecting on all these problems that you encounter while writing. I feel like this is the biggest hurdle to cross, and you can use a lot of the tips and like the stuff I've been talking about earlier to really just keep going in this situation, like getting your happy place together. And for me, that's a clean room and a cup of tea, and writing really bad intentionally because you just need to get the story out, or writing only the scenes that you really like and are really necessary and cutting out all the filler. I'm going to take all of those, my own tips, and I'm going to do a couple writing sprints, even though I really don't want to. I was just editing, and around the 6-minute mark when I was showing off my outline and explaining it, I realized that I have 2 names for the capital of the Aris Empire, which was a tidbit of information that I was looking for in my last vlog. So I just made up another name, but apparently the other name was right there. Writing is weird.